according to Monique, means that the hat on the head means you're lying. I've never heard that, but that's the origin of cap. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to look.
Tendencies to be less open-minded.
Which is crazy because that's literally one of the 3 years of principles that
Right.
we have to follow.
Yeah.
We have to have
Indispensable.
we have to be open-minded.
All right, Barbie, can you tell us a little about yourself?
My name is Barbie, and I am a facility maintenance manager at McShin. I've been here a year, and when I came back, it was a mess. So I knew I was missed.
It's beyond my wildest imagination.
It's getting deep in here now.
It's incredible, man.
To have the rainbow without going through the rain. And
I love it.
me
That's
too.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
And, and applying the recovery, I thought about it for a second.
Afternoon, VA.
Sticking with that, huh?
That's my new thing here. Good morning, Vienna. That's good afternoon, VA.
I'm taking
All right.
both eardrum covers off.
Is that wasn't too
You
loud?
gotta have one
it's-
off.
He was throwing one. I'm ready to go 2 now.
When we're up in here
Hear
with
myself.
John yells in that damn mic, man. I gotta tell him stop yelling in the mic. He's like all up on it and just screaming at us. I think it's because he can't hear. All right, everybody.
Selective hearing turns
Yes.
the hearing aid off.
Yeah.
Just nod his head.
Well, everybody out there, welcome to the Get in the Herd podcast. We're going live here on Facebook. If you tune in here, please make sure you hit that subscription button. Subscribe to the podcast. Well, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like and share this material. We got a special guest on today. Before I get into everything that we got going on, I do want to first shout out our sponsors. We got 2 sponsors. First, Hype Counseling. So, one event that we want to announce, we're kind of changing some things up. We're only going to announce the very next event, and our very next event is Overdose Awareness Vigil, August 31st, 6 p.m. August 31st, 6 p.m. right here, 2300 Dumbarton Road. We're going to have our Overdose Awareness Vigil. So if you've lost anybody as a direct result of substance use disorder, come on out, take part in the vigil if you want. Check out our Memorial Garden. We got a couple speakers and somebody's just going to sing a song. So come out and check it out. That is, again, August 31st, 6 p.m. All right, so first I want to shout out Steve. The cameras don't shine on him. We talked about this before. We were going to fix that.
Camera 3.
Yes, we were getting ready to fix that, y'all.
Third camera.
Earlier today, me and Steve were trying to figure out how to move this camera, but
Oh, recycle
we
camera.
we were going to move the camera, but we didn't do it. Maybe we'll do it next time. But he's the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the scenes over here, and then I got our co-host Travis Williams.
Yeet.
That's it, Travis Williams over there. He's a co-host and he's an intern right now, and he should. I tell him he needs to be here early, and he always wants to come in last, like he wants to make an entrance.
You never heard that
every time.
statement, fashionably late?
No, it's not. You want to make an entrance every time we're in here. He wants to come in last. Wants to make
That's
an
because the
entrance.
boss is the last person to show up, not the intern.
That's right, yes.
Yeah, he's mad. That's what he's mad
Dress
about.
for the job you
I'm
want
stealing
type
his
thing.
glory.
All right, and then we got a very, very good friend of mine, an awesome dude. He helped start this podcast. He was one of the early hosts. did a lot of work here. He's doing some great things. We're going to get into that. I got Alex Bond here with us,
Whoa, thanks for having me.
a.k.a. Moses.
Thanks for having me.
We were trying to, hey man, my pleasure. I'm glad I got you on it. We were trying to find Alex actually has done some writing of music. We were trying to find the video, but we couldn't pull it up. We're gonna look for it
Is
still.
that what you call it?
Well, yeah, definitely. So those that are listening that don't actually see us, we're live right now. So it's Facebook Live. So throughout this, we might have some comments that pop up, and we're going to try to acknowledge them. If we don't, please forgive us. But I do want to acknowledge a few people that are listening and streaming in. Timothy Glenn, thank you for logging on. Jason Eves, shouting out Alex. They all know Alex. Jason
Amazing
knows
Jason.
Alex. Yeah. We all here together?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna be in a fantasy football league together this year too. So
How much? How much did y'all
What do you
put
mean
out?
smoke his
fancy?
boot.
What's fancy
How much y'all
football?
putting out there for that one?
fantasy.
$60. It was like
not too
$50
bad. I'm doing
with $10 additional for a trophy.
I got a friend down in Florida that does one every year, and it's $100. And that's
I do
like-
another one that's $100.
Yeah, that's right at
That's
that's my limit right there, $100.
Anything
So
more
it's
than
your,
that.
it's your separate thing. It's not FanDuel or anything.
No, it's just they needed an extra slot and
League of
so-
Friends, a bunch of people,
a bunch
yeah.
of people in recovery.
Every year I've done it for like the past, I think 2-3 years, and I lose every time. I had the first pick one time. I found out that's like the worst pick. I had number one pick last year, and I still got
I like middle of the pack.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That's like the best one.
Like
middle
5,
back.
6, something
so,
like that.
Yeah, this year I got 8. I'm 8th pick, so I got
That's
to try to
nice.
make that work.
Being
Yep.
close to the turn is good too because you get to just kind of scoot people and then you can go throughout your day without having to like be so attentive to your phone.
Yeah, last
Yeah.
year when they did it, I was at football practice for my son, so I was like trying to maneuver through practice and pick NFL players on my team there. But anyway, so Jason Eves, and then I seen Joe P. Going back to my comments there. What you doing, Steve? You messing me all
Joe
up. here.
P.
Joe P.
my brother.
Man. Yeah. Y'all both kind of started around the same time. I think you might have been the one who put
was
a
here.
word in for him, or was he here
He,
before you?
other way around. So he
Okay,
he
yeah.
was here probably about 6 months at least before I was. And then he actually led me to my sponsor at the same time, which is cool
Okay.
too. He introduced who would become my sponsor and said, "Hey, you should ask this guy or whatever." And so I did, and he's been my sponsor ever since. So it's real nice.
Yeah, I remember Joe. Joe didn't even come through McShin. He just kind of came here for meetings. He was just hanging out here, just kind of being a service. And then somebody said, "Hey, man, this guy's might be a good fit here."
And he was. It was awesome.
Yeah, he rocked it out, man. So thank y'all for tuning in and shouting out. We're going to get into some stuff with Alex, man. I love this dude. You know, his work ethic is in what's that word? That's just Trav, give me a word.
A word for what?
Procrastinator?
No.
That's
It's
definitely true.
Impeccable.
Impeccable.
Yes, his work ethic is
Never heard that.
impeccable. Yes, definitely, man. You definitely were not. You were not a procrastinator. You were hands down. You were good at what you did, man. Like
I appreciate that.
You added a lot of value to the team, so we loved having you on there. But I wanted first, if we could, just kind of what happened, what led you to recovery, what led you to McShin, or just to recovery period. I don't know if you came to recovery before McShin, if you ever tried it your hand or not.
I never took it seriously. I mean, I had to because the law told me I needed to.
Yeah,
you know. I mean,
That'll
it's
help. That
not
happened to
like
us a lot.
I ever conscientiously tried. I think I did maybe one time, and it didn't really. I wasn't following any sort of pathway or anything like that. I literally was just like not doing so hot. I should probably stop, using. And then I just got bored and started to use again. So I never really gave it like an actual shot. But this time around, I got 2 DUIs in a week.
2 DUIs in a week.
September 14th and September 17th and September 23rd. September 23rd, 2019, which is my clean date. Went to jail for, a couple weeks and then got bailed out directly to the McShin Foundation, and then had been here as a house leader at Scott House, the intensive house. Well, I went through the program and then became the house leader at Scott House and did that for like 3 months, and then started volunteering at the center, and then got a job at the center, and then moved out of the intensive house and pretty much stayed here for a little over a year. I was here September 23rd, and then I moved, I want to say like first week in November.
Go back to the beginning piece there, those 2 DUIs and like before that. So you said you kind of tried, but you didn't really like follow directions?
No,
Or
so
what
I mean, like previous times that I tried to get clean, it was really like, you know, get in trouble, get like a drunk in public or something like that, get, you know, another DUI, and you have to go do IOP, which requires drug tests, which requires AA meetings and NA meetings or whatever. And so it was more like buying my time to get that stuff done because I don't want to go to jail.
You were just taking care of the mandatory stuff. That
Yeah,
they laid
man.
on you. You know,
I remember one of the first AA meetings I actually ever like remember going to. I was probably 19. I want to say I was probably 18 or 19 years old, freshman, sophomore year of college or something like that. And I'm standing around at the end of the meeting, you know, everyone gets in a circle and holds hands and does like a serenity prayer or something like that. And so we all are holding hands with each other doing that. And I bow my head to pray and notice that I'm wearing like a Dos Equis t-shirt to this AA meeting. And I felt so bad because I'm still like trying to learn what's acceptable and not. And I was just like, I'm an idiot, man. Like I'm so not prepared to do something like this. And so I didn't. And so the first, you know, I consider this being my real first time in recovery because I think there's a difference between being in recovery and just like not using.
That's pretty
Yeah,
advanced though, to
definitely.
realize at 18 that I shouldn't be wearing this in the AA. Most people would have just thought it was funny.
Yeah, and it was funny looking back on it now, but it's just kind of showed. It's, I don't know, a little emblematic of where my mindset was, kind of that selfishness piece, that me against the world piece that you kind of don't learn about until you go through some sort of evolutionary change that recovery can bring upon. You know?
Yeah. And so the first time you went to a meeting, 18 years old. That's the same thing for me.
Yeah.
The first time I went to an NA meeting, I was 18 years old, and I remember I went to the meeting, and I had this dude I used to shoot dope with meet me. He had his mom drop him off at the meeting, and so like we met at the meeting, and we like snuck out the back door to go meet dope man cop, get some dope, and then come back to the meeting.
You went to an
He had-
NA meeting when you were 18 years old?
Yeah.
What meeting was this?
It was over at a church. It was right before I got on methadone. It was with Zach. I don't know if you remember my friend
yeah,
Zach.
yeah.
Yeah. His mom drops him off, and he always had money. He was a rich guy, rich kid. Well, grew up rich. His parents were rich, and I didn't have no money, but I had that long black car. I might have been like, it was right before I went to prison. So I got the vehicle. His mom won't let him have the vehicle. But so it's funny. It just reminds me you're at the AA meeting, not really buying in, but you're there, right? And the same thing with me. I'm not really buying in. I don't even know why I'm going there. But the seed was planted. Like I knew I needed to do something. But I remember sneaking out, going and copping some dope, and coming back to the meeting.
It kind of first planted the idea of not using is the answer, but I don't know necessarily if a 12-step program is like the solution. You know, it felt like not using was kind of like a bit of a treatment more than it was like 12-step is the cure.
Yeah.
So you were
yeah.
actually contemplating these things at 18 years old?
Yeah, you know, I mean,
You weren't.
my freshman.
What did you do, Travis?
My freshman year of
didn't give a
college, I
damn.
got in trouble like 3 times in the first semester. You know,
What college did you go to?
JMU.
Okay, little party school.
Yeah.
Harrisonburg?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Harrisonburg.
Harrisonburg, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a party school. Were you
4
frat?
years and no degree.
No fraternity?
No GDI till I die.
What's GDI mean?
Gosh darn independent.
I've never heard that.
You've never heard that because it sounds like a frat, you know. GDI.
I'm not coming a part of your gang, but I'll have my own over here.
That we contemplated making a frat. 'Cause
off of that?
It was well just because we were bored, you know. And instead we started making music together. That was like our version of a frat. Is me and a buddy started making music, and then within 2 or 3 years we found a band, and then we just did that. You know, it was kind of like.
So was a band? The music wasn't rapping. It was the
So I was a rapping frontman of a band. So
Kind of like Limp Bizkit?
yeah, you know, I wouldn't say
Rage
that.
Against the
Other
Machine.
people probably.
Rage Against the
That's
Machine.
definitely closer.
Rage Against the Machine.
We did Rage covers. It was
a
kind of
little
like
respect.
if you took the Roots Rage and like Sublime or
that's
Red
actually
Hot
a
Chili
good damn
Peppers.
mix right there.
Or something
kinda
like that.
funky.
See,
Yeah.
now I want to look this up. Do you got any
we got
recordings
any
of
of
this?
on,
Yeah,
on
we
the
got
internet?
plenty of it. It
Steve,
was
pull
called
this
Too
up,
Indecent.
Steve, can we
Steve,
look
can
up
we pull
two?
this up?
Steve's not really good at this part here. Like
I know you can find that on twoindecent.bandcamp.com.
Steve, I feel like you should be able to do it, and it doesn't show up right there.
So was this the name of the band? G-I-T? What'd you say? God?
No, GDI. That was
GDI.
just something college kids said
was the
who
name?
didn't
Gosh
really
darn
like
independent. Independent.
What was
Last
the name of
Rats.
this daggone band? What was the name of this band?
The
'Cause
band's called Too Indecent.
Too
Indecent,
Indecent.
like not decent.
Okay, was Moses a part of this band?
Yeah, that was I guess my rap name. And so me and the buddy that I rapped with, he made all the beats, and then we, rapped over him. Did that for like a couple projects, and then he was a guitarist. He found a drummer, and then we created a band.
Would
turned
y'all
that
ha-
into a business, and then kind of did that.
What'd y'all
for
do like the
4
band at
years.
the recording? Did y'all have like y'all's own little kind of studio? or
Bounce around.
garage?
I mean,
Okay.
there were some local studios we would use. We recorded one song at American University, I think it is. We recorded another one at JMU's studio, wherever we could, honestly.
Were y'all booking shows? And
Yeah.
Through, I mean,
were
probably
y'all-
that's probably like through JMU. You can do that. Like, do like frats pay people to come? At the
Yeah,
show?
we did our very, very first show. Even before we did the band, we did a show for like a mixer. So it was like this frat that had a mixer, and everyone's all dressed up in their suits and everything. And then right at midnight, we roll up in like tank tops and
Did you wear your
graphic
Dos Equis shirt?
T-shirts.
Dos Equis
Yeah,
t-shirt.
I think it's
He had a
probably,
Dos Equis bottle.
honestly.
Is what he had. He had the bottle.
And that was the heyday, though. I mean, that was definitely something that I learned a lot about in terms of production in my career and what I do now. But that was
It
also
kind of helped launch. Yeah, okay.
that was also a thing that was not good for a recovery lifestyle. I mean, full disclosure, I was probably like blacking out in the middle of a set. Like honestly, get up there and be like, "Hey, how's everyone doing tonight?" Cut to hour later. Thanks for having us.
at the dress up
come-
mixer?
Yeah, yeah.
hammered.
I'll be honest, man. I mean, it was rough, and so there was those moments that kind of we eventually stopped doing music, and I had a son, other people had girlfriends, job opportunities, and I eventually found my way back into the rooms, the scenic route.
Yeah, that's good. So you ended up you couldn't find it, Steve?
I found it.
Okay, well let's check it out. Let's hear it a little bit.
Let's get a little taste of this here.
Wait, hold on. Is that one of those? Is that you right there with the green hat?
Yeah, that's second from the right.
The green hat, right?
Yeah.
My hair was like down to
Getting a
here,
little wild out there,
curly.
won't it?
I'm telling you,
Oh, I love it.
Was that you?
that's me.
Oh.
It's my man. All right.
I made that logo in a graphic design class in college.
Okay.
Definitely a mixed bunch right there. We got all kind of looks going on there. We
Yeah,
got
like
the
the guy
older
over there
gentleman
looks.
with the beard. We got the
The guy to the
def-
left, all the way to
yeah,
the left, looks like kind of like Skid Row guy,
Yeah.
Sebastian. Or,
The guy with the
Guns N'
hat
Roses.
on looks like one of the Beastie Boys. Like
he does. He does got the Beastie Boys look. Yes.
It's great though because so Zeus is on the left and then my buddy Danny on the right.
yeah, those.
I'm
names
still really
fit.
really close friends with them.
Steve,
So
you
they
can cut
make
that now.
music together. They're in a band together in Richmond and they still do
Oh,
stuff.
they still got a band going?
Yeah. So they're in a jam band in Richmond that's kind of
So what's
starting
the
to pop
jam?
off
What is the
pretty
jam
well.
band?
Kind of like like Fish,
Grateful Dead.
Grateful Dead.
Those
I-
are
I
probably the two
love
most
'em.
famous jam bands. They
String Cheese.
come up with like a 4-minute song, but when they play it live, they stretch it out and make it like a 10,
The
12
music
minute
could just go
song just by
anywhere.
kind
I
of.
never really liked
playing.
those long songs like that.
Yeah, you
You
did.
do?
I'm-
no,
I'm-
I
you
didn't.
definitely
man. I
did.
know you just made me ride around and listen to that
Definitely,
shit.
you would listen to like the Doors. This is the end. Back to back.
Doors are not considered a
I
jam
don't-
band.
yeah,
But
I
you said
don't
long
think the
song.
Doors-
You said long
I'm saying
song.
like
you said long
the Grateful Dead.
song.
That was never like my thing. I
It's
just
not-
was forced.
it's not mine, to
I
be
was
honest.
forced to listen
I love
to
the
it.
Grateful Dead.
I know. I was forced to listen to it because
Crazy
you
they
and other
blend the
people.
two songs together, man. It's
never
real
really liked that
funky.
stuff.
Like each time you hear a different set, it's the music's different. You never know where it's gonna go.
You
It's
like
better
it.
than
That's good.
setting it down in a set recording studio, like where it's your perception of what good music is.
Trev, you're allowed to like
These
what you
things
like.
can change and they can blend it out.
I
I'm saying
don't
you
have
gotta
to
open
like
your
what you
mind a
like.
little bit.
I know, but that's just the two different ways of figuring out what sort of art you like and what you want to present. I think that there's something even more intense in terms of being able to sit down, craft something, part A to part B, put all of everything into something, and then have the courage to display that to people.
What, on the record or live?
Anything, whether it's a record or whether it's live or whether it's a movie or a TV show or any sort of art form where you put all into that you have and then show it to someone and kind of say, I don't care if you like it or not.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
my stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't gotta like what you like. All
I
right.
just-
So I don't like your little jam
I
bands
don't like
over
your
there.
stuff either.
You go
Tori
listen.
Amos
It's just
and all
different
that other-
versions of the art form, you know? It's kind of like if you've ever seen an
listen to
improv
Jerry
comedy
Garcia.
set, it's going to be different than someone doing stand up. Like
Yeah.
stand up is a craft that people, you know, tour 50 shows across the nation figuring out how the punchline works best compared to like an improv show.
Well, what
I
I'm
say-
saying is the live band, it's the music can evolve. There's an evolution. It can change.
Sure.
It can go places. New things can be explored. That's all I'm saying. You know, it's not everybody's cup of
No,
tea.
it's different sides of the same coin, honestly. And it's
Yeah.
very interesting seeing how people react to it.
Yeah. As a live musician yourself, you would say that that's probably like the biggest part of it, the reaction from the crowd.
Yeah, I hated doing stuff like brand new for the first time. Like I didn't like. I can, but I didn't like freestyling on a stage.
What,
I'd
like
much.
out of self-consciousness.
You like stuff you could prepare.
didn't-
Yeah,
you
I'd
didn't know
rather
how the
have something
audience
that I
was
can
gonna
show
relate to it.
off. Like I
Yeah.
want to be
Yeah.
able to step off a stage and be like, "That was the best thing I could have possibly done." But when you're freestyling or just trying to come up with something on the fly, you're like, "That was very okay."
Yeah.
And I don't like the feeling of very okay. I like the feeling of like if you didn't
killed
like that, you're an idiot. You know?
Yeah,
But
I like preparing for stuff too, man. It makes you feel more confident in like giving it. Like if you're prepared, if you've done it, if you planned it, you know, it makes you feel a little bit more confident in the delivery of it. So I can see I'm not no artist at all when it comes to like that type of art. Like
Well, actually, you're a very good acoustic guitar player and singer. I've heard this firsthand. So I don't know if I wouldn't say you didn't have
Are you?
art in you. You know
he's
what I
trying
mean?
to crack a joke. This is like his way of cracking a joke.
Well, I mean,
right
you
now.
know, you got one good
Sometimes,
song.
look,
It's not a joke.
Sometimes
I enjoy
Tra-
it every time you do it.
Sometimes your jokes are funny, and sometimes they're not.
You got to pull that acoustic out and sing that song, then it'd be real funny for everybody.
It definitely would. I agree with you on that one. It definitely would be funny.
That's showing.
Hey, so let me, so Trav, so Alex, like, so listening to all this about Alex, would you think for a second that this dude could play football? I'm judging. I'm
Hold
judging.
on. By listening to what he said, and just his intelligent level, I would think that he could play fantasy football really well.
Better
So,
at that.
so yeah, nah, man. So Alex can ball, man. We remember that game we had. Remember we had that football
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
That junk got
We
intense.
did like alumni versus staff, pretty much, or participants versus staff.
and it was tackle too. Won't know. I think we started 2-hand touch, and then it just became.
So yeah, now
Tackle.
People were just shoving each other on
Yeah.
the ground with two hands. So it's like,
This
what's the difference?
This reminds
Yeah.
me of Grant, like Grant Thompson, the intern here, that
He
really
fooled me.
fooled us.
Grant
He's a soccer
fooled me.
player, and he put some people on.
That's
the
my
stage
that's
juking
my
and jiving.
sport. That's my sport. I've been playing soccer since I was 4 years old.
So is that your skill on the football side to be able to cut quick, turn, dive, make
He's
people
got
miss
hands. He can
and
catch the ball. Like he.
catch the ball? Yeah,
Yeah.
he looks like he could be quick. Yeah.
Some speed. You
Well,
know,
he-
I think I'm still pretty fast for 30 years old.
You're only
thankfully.
30 years old.
I know he said that like he's so dang old. I'm not still fast for the 30.
I am,
you know?
though.
The big
I
3-0.
don't-
I didn't realize you were 26,
26
27
when I
you
came
got
in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, damn. That was a good football game though.
That
man.
was.
We got intense out there. They was getting it.
I remember David Barker was out there. He was like every bit of like 5'6", catching bombs though.
Yeah.
You
David,
know?
Oh, David Barr. What about
Low
little
center of
little
gravity.
Ned? You remember little Ned?
Yeah.
And caught the little touchdown.
Yeah,
pass?
man.
Nobody thought little Ned could do that. Yeah.
And he pulled one
Fool,
off.
fooled us.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely. Yeah,
Was
he
this on grass or sand? What was
This
it?
is the
What
park
was
right
it
over
like?
there. Right
Oh,
over
so y'all
there.
went straight to the park.
Yeah, we went
Old
to the
school,
park.
yeah.
We used to do so. We haven't done this in a while, but we did like a McShin Field Day kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and we had football. We did some other stuff out there. We got really heated into that game. It was fun. We had a good time.
competition was high.
Yeah, it was.
That
It
always
was-
makes it better. Was there any trash talking going on? Who was the best trash talker out there, Alex?
I don't know, man.
You talking
Bob?
trash when you're playing? You talking about Bob?
Bob D. Bob was
Yeah,
on.
Bob.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bob. my
Well,
dude.
no, he
He's
wasn't
got
really
good
doing no
taste in
trash
music.
talking though. No, Bob was playing hard though.
Yeah.
I feel like the participant side was trash talking more. What's his name? Your boy Andrew.
Andrew's
yeah,
a
Andrew
good
was
tra-
getting
he's a
it.
great trash
Yeah, he was
talker.
getting mad at me and going in like he was yelling. That was good.
What was the ultimate decision on this game? What was the score? Was it close?
I think the participants.
I think
won.
participants won by
Y'all
like a
pulled it off?
One
touchdown.
touchdown. Yeah, one touchdown.
Yeah.
Alex was on the staff side that time. Were you on the participant side?
I feel like I swapped because someone left.
Yeah,
I feel
'cause
like
I
at
remember
some
throwing
point
a
I
touchdown
was
pass
on
to
the
you.
participant side, and then I think some staff had to leave, take some people or something like that who were all playing volleyball.
That's
See,
called
there were
covering your
the
bet.
real competitors who were playing football, and then there were people who were playing casual games, all playing like volleyball
Y'all weren't
or
Volleyball and
badminton or
soccer and
something
stuff
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
No offense to the volleyball.
I love volleyball. Don't
Well,
get me wrong. It just wasn't as people weren't playing as intently. You
Yeah,
know?
they weren't taking it as serious. The competition level wasn't as high.
They were getting it in on the football
No.
field. I remember it was fun. It was
We
good
were
times,
limping
man.
off.
So yeah, I know everybody was hurt after that game. So look, so Alex, so you get into recovery, you know, and then finally you finally kind of sticks and stays. You come to McShin, you know, you were breaking it down here. You stayed for a little while. You were the house leader at the intensive house. Let's talk about that because you know it's funny because Travis is actually the intensive house leader right now. How was your
Lucky duck.
I feel lucky.
It was great, man. I don't think I would have lasted as long as I did if I didn't pick up something so service focused and intense because it was like it gave me some sort of a purpose in terms of trying to. I never considered myself a maybe empathetic person. You know, I remember like crying on the phone with my mom because I was like, I don't know if I'm even like capable of showing love, you know? So being able to be put in a position, honestly
Yeah,
though,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I remember that conversation saying like, my heart is made of stone. I don't understand it. So then to, 6 months later be like, king of the drug addicts was very interesting. You know,
it's a good way to put it there, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You know what? And it either look, Alex, it can go two ways with that. It either can you can either become a very empathetic, compassionate person, or you can become a very egotistical king of the world person.
King of the hill. That's right. Did you ease right into it, or were you like frustrated at the beginning? Did you bark on people? Like, did you cuss a lot?
Not really. So I was in a
lot
position
more elevated than I
where
am.
we had a good system of the assistant house leader was Nick, and
Oh,
he
you
was
had an assistant.
yeah.
Very interesting.
So we had
What are these assistants you speak of?
We did away with that. No more assistants.
Well, it worked for us because we had a good cop, bad cop routine down to a science.
Who was the good cop?
I was the good cop. So I
Who
was
was your assistant?
That's no
Nick.
fun.
Nick.
He was I can't
Nick was
remember his I think it was Mulvaney. Nick Mick.
I'm trying to remember who that was.
I don't think it was Mulvaney.
So
or
anyway,
something.
you're the good cop. He's the bad cop.
Well, he wasn't. I don't want to like put it so Venn diagram, but like
I love that word.
he was like, we have to follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, then I have to like report that these rules aren't being followed. And I was kind of more like open door policy. If you want to talk about anything, just roll in and we'll chat it out. And I really liked running 10 steps. Do you still do a 10 step over
Every
there?
night.
Yeah, that was my favorite part.
Mine
Being
too.
able to come up with cool stuff and really create that like camaraderie and everything like that. And
It does
it
do
wasn't
that.
perfect. There were some things that I screwed up on that I'm happy to
Like
admit.
what?
I think for probably about a week we were letting dudes do tattoos in the basement.
Oh, good idea.
Oh, was that when that one guy was there, the older gentleman that did the tattoos?
Yeah.
yeah.
Was he good?
Well, and I was all right. I was all right with it because we kind of talked about it. Nick and I did, and we were like, we have a lot of people over here doing a 10-step that aren't even just at this house.
Yeah.
So we got the 12 people who are at this house all in the basement at the same time, just kind of like cutting up, listening to music. One person's giving another person a tattoo, and then people from other houses are coming to just like hang out. And
So
then
you kind of y'all looked at it as like, hey, it's a social. It's just like a social thing. It's getting everybody here.
And then we do a 10-step with like twice as many people that we usually do, and I think there's something like pretty valuable in that.
Did
Trav,
you take a
no.
percentage off the proceeds coming in from the tattoos?
Absolutely not.
Huh?
No.
no tattoos in the basement.
No.
all right? And so the just
And
so-
then guys would like come to the center with like a tank top shirt on, with
show
like
their
a fresh
tattoos off.
tattoo,
Yeah.
and
I
I'm
think
like, "Are you an idiot?"
yeah.
Like-
I think a staff member might have got one, and that's really what had messed things up. I think a staff member got that guy to do a tattoo.
Did you get one, Alex?
possible. No,
Not possible.
But Trav,
no,
you
no.
do.
It's possible that a
Staff
staff,
member did
member
it.
did. I never got one there. I got them later
Trav,
in a
you-
tattoo parlor where you're supposed to get them.
Yeah, where you know that it might be a little better, right? It might come
Yeah.
out a little better. You do have assistants though, so the way
I know I do.
yeah.
You don't have to get too deep into it.
Okay, just wanted
Let
to
that
make
flow
sure.
off your.
you don't have
neck
one in
muscle.
your house, but now you have one over at.
Well,
the
I got a
house.
pool of resources that I pull from. You know.
Yeah.
I approach this differently. Like any other house leader or assistant in any other house, or just the average neighbor walking by the house, like, hey, sit with these guys real quick. I'm gone.
I'm gone.
And just so you know, we got a lot of people watching you too, though. So we're making sure.
Oh, did you
because
finally
we-
put cameras in the houses?
Yeah, we did. Actually.
Yeah, there are
Just-
cameras in the houses.
Yeah.
Clay.
And we got specific staff designated to watch Travis because
And
he's
they
a
do
slippery
watch
one.
him.
Yeah, they'll let me know how good he's doing or not. So
And you get nothing but good reports.
He sits there in the 10 steps and like is whispering to everyone where the blind spots in the house are.
oh, they find him. We just had to recently go. We bought metal detectors because we had one guy in there that just wanted to keep hiding the phone, and they found the craftiest spot to hide the phone.
They found a good one.
Yeah, they did, but it got
It was
sniffed
in the
out.
vents.
Oh, no way.
In the vents of the house, yes.
Of the house. Yeah.
All in all, it was one of the most important things that I did for my recovery was being a house leader.
I think it
if I'm
teaches
being
you a lot of
honest.
stuff. It teaches you patience. It teaches you how to deal with your frustration, and it does build a camaraderie. I'd agree with you because that 10-step gets deep, man.
Yeah.
And you will find that a lot of people that transition to sober living will come back and be a part of it. And I
that-
love that.
We
No,
were
totally.
actually talking about the 10-step this
This
morning.
morning, yeah.
We're doing we do a little morning kind of motivation, inspiration, like quick podcast. This time it went a little bit longer, but it's usually like about a 10-minute clip. And we were talking about that, how like 10-step, not only is it good in recovery houses, but like how I use it at home with my family. Like we don't do it every day, but like, we try, at one time we were pretty consistent. We were doing it every week, but now we might hit it once a month where we just check in together as a family, what's going on, where have we harmed each other, that kind of stuff, man. And that 10-step, man, is beneficial in all aspects of life. And so I've gone to them, and it's like spiritual,
Yeah.
It's very, very fulfilling to go to those.
Yeah. So you said that So you said that when you took it on, you had never been like overly empathetic or a heart of stone. So like, and you said that you found kind of like a purpose in doing the intensive house?
Yeah. That kind of put me in the right path, is what I'm trying to say.
To me, I mean, would you agree with this, man? I used to love just seeing people come in from that first day and just being anxious and just not knowing what's going on and just you could just tell their thoughts were racing, and then like a week later, you see them easing into it. And then by the third week, you see them catching on. And then by the fourth week, they don't even want to leave the house. It's been a total, like, I love seeing that transformation, man. I found
absolutely.
that pretty fulfilling and purposeful, seeing, like, people just make that good transformation from day 1 to day 28. Even though I know it's not a long time, and at first they come in thinking it is a really long time. Man, I got to get through this, man. 3 more weeks. And then by that last week, they're like, man, this is going by so fast. I don't want to leave. I love that, man. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. They usually don't want to leave is totally right. And I think that what I found even more impactful than kind of like being hands-on with the newcomer was kind of even being responsible for an environment where one newcomer is helping another newcomer.
Oh, it's
I think
great,
there's
yeah.
something even more, I don't know, cosmic about being able to kind of lead a space where people can help each other more than there is to just be the person helping everyone else. It's
Yeah.
kind
It's like the therapeutic value of one addict helping another.
Yeah.
And like you just get to just watch that happen, man. I know that's got to be cool.
They all get on board. Everybody
Yeah.
working towards that one common goal, man. I agree with that right there.
And it taught a lot of managerial experience, where it's actually like learn how to delegate. I think being able to do work for people doesn't solve problems. Like you got to teach a man to fish.
And in that house, you can't be all eyes everywhere. So
No.
you want the guys to catch on, like, man, I want my recovery, and hold other people accountable. And then they start doing that, man. You're right about
But
that.
I also don't think people totally respond to a punitive approach
Yeah,
where it's like,
I agree.
you can't expect people to be honest with you or sincere or authentic with you if you're just going to come down on them when they're not doing what they're supposed to.
Yeah.
If you kind of like try to leave with love,
Yeah.
then people are going to be willing to stroll in and be like, hey, I'm feeling this way, or I want to do this, or I already did that. I need some help. They're not going to do that if they're worried about being punished after
all
the
the
fact.
time. Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that totally. Yeah, I think you're spot on right there. I feel like I take.
Don't
that
get me
approach,
wrong.
too.
There's like a balance, but that's kind
Yeah.
of what that class that I did taught me
Which
years
class?
ago. It was about restorative justice and unitive theory over like punitive theory
Oh, you
type
did that
stuff.
with Sarah Days, right?
Yeah, Sarah Days.
Sarah Days. Yeah, I remember that. You and Jill did that. So you house lead. You're the house leader for about 3 months. Then what happens?
And then 3 dudes like all relapsed at the same time or something like that, and it was kind of like I think we need to put you in a step-up house now. I felt it as like a punitive approach where it was like, oh, 3 dudes relapsed on my clock, so they're gonna move
On
me.
your watch.
They're gonna move me. You know what I'm saying? But
They gave you a reprieve.
no, looking back on it, it was just like I had been in house leader at the step-up house for like 3 or 4 months with 3 or 4 months clean. So it was kind of like I needed to, get put in an environment that would be more conducive to how I was growing. So I moved from Scott House to Clark House,
Yeah.
and became the house leader there,
Moved across the street.
and then literally, and then started actually like working here at the center, just like admin stuff, and then eventually did the medication and the urinalysis, and then the podcast. And that was going really swimmingly. Everything was really trucking along, and the recovery coach training. Jesse gave me that opportunity, and that was some of the most fun I'd really
that's
ever
right. I
had.
remember you was killing that teaching.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, teaching the training. Before, because I love the transition when you left out here, and I want to touch on that. But how was it like working? I guess in this field, you were at McShin, but just working in recovery period. You finally started,
It's
earning
long.
Earning
I
some
mean,
money.
no. I mean, I didn't really see it as something that I would do, but I took way better of a shine to it than I usually do. I mean, knowing what I think I know about myself, it was all a little counter to how I think about myself sometimes. You get here early. I'm not good at that. You
Sounds like Travis.
you report to other people. You have to put yourself not last, but you have to be outwardly empathetic. You have to be patient. You have to do all these things that I always kind of considered weren't really my forte. And at the same time, it helped me learn more about myself and develop things that I thought were weaknesses and figure out kind of what my strengths were a little better at the same time.
Yeah, I remember. One thing, and I hear what you're talking about. I seen and I don't think it's like actually like a lack of empathy. It just comes off.
Yeah.
like that with you, but there's definitely empathy in there. Because I remember, man, you really shined at coaching, like that one-on-one coaching. And I never forget one time, like you brought somebody to my office and like you were just advocating for them, and then afterwards you came back and you were advocating for them, and it was like the prime like recovery coaching 101 on how to like go hard for the people that you're serving. Like you wanted something specific to happen for them, and I just remember that was something you were really good at. Some people struggle with that, when it comes to the coaching piece, because they get so caught up in the punitive piece that you were talking about earlier. Like it's so caught up in that punitive piece, and they forget, that we're here to serve in this thing.
Help.
We're here to serve.
Serve
The
and
help.
help.
Yeah, like
Help and serve.
well, when you put the help word on it, and I'm not
Be
saying
helpful.
yeah, I'm not saying that's bad, but when you put the helping word on it, it makes it almost seem like we're above them. The serving piece is really like we're here to serve, right? The helping piece kind of puts them below us, but we say that.
It's the hierarchy. It's that
Yeah.
same thing I learned in that unit of justice class is that there's so many hierarchies in our society that make us feel either diminutive or like we have power. Like either other people have power over us or we have power over other people. And recovery and this whole environment is the perfect opportunity to dismantle hierarchies.
Yeah.
This person being my sponsee or
putting that name on it. Yeah,
he's the person I sponsor.
ownership,
It doesn't need to be I am the sponsor, he is the sponsee. It is like two people in recovery who consistently are helping each other. I call him for help as much as he calls me sometimes.
We
And
brought that up this morning.
talked about
also.
it too. Yeah.
and I think the other layover and the thing that you mentioned in terms of recovery coaching is I found very quickly that as soon as I figured out what someone else's strengths and weaknesses were, we could figure out what their game plan was, not my game plan is going to work for you, so you should do all these things. I think that's something that is often forgotten about, is like the way I got clean is not the way that everyone gets clean.
Yeah,
So why would it be the way that you got clean too? What do you need? How can we get you those things? Trial and error, it's not going to be like a one size fits all solution.
Yeah,
People are so individual
Yeah.
that you have
No-
to like
no
take
cookie
the
cutter
time
way.
to figure
Yeah,
out
yeah.
who people are to figure out what their solution is.
Yeah, and we were actually talking about this in the staff meeting. Like, there's many pathways to recovery, and like, one thing that you're talking about, right? And this happens in the 12 step. And I'm a 12 step guy, so like, I'm not no representative of NA, but that's just my pathway. But like, one of the problems with a lot of people in there is they think, hey, it's the only way you can do it. So if you don't do it my way, you're not doing it the right way. And come on, man, that doesn't even line up with the spiritual principles of the steps. Like, if you're working a program in one of these 12-step fellowships, if you're working a program in Narcotics Anonymous, then you would know that their spiritual principle of open-mindedness means that you got to be open to all this stuff, right? And just because you don't do it the way I'm doing it doesn't mean that you can't recover. And I like that, man. That's real important when it comes to that recovery coaching. Like, it doesn't got to be done my way, and I think a lot of us struggle with that. We do.
And that goes with even 12-step stuff, in my opinion. Like, all of my sponsees, I don't tell anyone what to do. The reality is, I can give you my advice, I can make suggestions, I can give you guidance, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. So I'm going to tell you, you have option A, B, C, and D. I would recommend this one, but do whatever you want, and then call me afterward. Tell me how it goes.
Yeah, and the good
never
right,
know
yeah,
how it
yeah.
shakes out.
And the good thing is, this is what I share a lot with guys that I sponsor, or just with anybody when it comes to making decisions like that. The good thing is today is you get to make the decision, right? You're not making, because there was times where I know for me, like, the decision was made based off the drug made the decision for me. When I woke up in the morning before I brushed my teeth, I was sticking a needle in my arm, right? And the same thing with drinking. When you're hungover, before you think about doing anything, you want to get a drink, right? And that stuff made the decision for us. Today, we get to make decisions, and that's what helps. When we're coaching, mentoring, guiding anybody, it empowers. We got the empower. To make it, and that's kind of why I was saying we kind of stray away from the helping mentality, because helping kind of makes it seem like, my son. I use my kids for an example a lot. Like, if I say you need my help, like, hell, no, I don't need your help. I don't need your help, Dad. I got this, right? You're not, you know what I mean? Because they want to be like, just stand on their own kind of thing. So that's kind of why it's that service approach, that service mentality.
Yeah, maybe I meant helpful. Well, you went deep on the help thing, didn't you?
You don't like?
I mean,
you
you
like
dug
deep.
right
I thought,
in on the
you know,
help.
I thought,
I hope nobody comes in. Hey, man, can you help me out? No, I can service you. No help.
No,
here.
I will say, working in the service industry for years, I think kind of helped in the recovery aspect and
There it is
in
again.
figuring that stuff
Alex
out.
used it now. Got anything to say to that?
Alex
the
is
help-
allowed.
the help piece.
word. You use
He's-
the H
he's-
word.
I am a guest.
he can use that. You can't.
Oh, no, sorry, it's just me.
No, because
H's for
honestly,
me.
between like those two things, I think have really helped, have really like served me in the space
There it
really
is.
well. Is like working in restaurants and working in the service industry for 10 years, followed by like, making a couple businesses and figuring and being independent and trying to fail successfully, if that makes sense. Where
Fail forward.
I am definitely a person that, as most
That's his little motivation.
Fail forward?
Fail forward. Never fall back.
Yeah, that's a banger. I like that because I
I got that
feel
off
like
30 for 30.
as most addicts, we are not people who look at other people's failures and learn from that. I have to fail to learn from it successfully.
Kind
a
of
lot
like
times.
trial and error.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
So you're rocking it out. You start doing the podcast too. I remember, look,
Yeah.
Trav, he used to do the podcast out of that room you're in. Because we switched program
At
to
nights.
Clark House now, and so he would do it right out of his room. He would log in, and they would do a night podcast. It was
That's a
pretty
good
cool.
idea.
Yeah, he would just host it right from there.
And just talk about whatever.
Whoever
Yeah,
we
so-
had on, we had
so
special guests on there.
Todd would line up people, and I would literally just hop on like a Zoom call type thing. And some people were, would run an RCO where they had some sort of program. A lot of it was out of state, the people we were talking to. Others were delegates or like a House of Representatives, all recovery based pretty much.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun, especially for a dude who's spending like his Friday night at 9 o'clock on a
Inside the room,
podcast.
yeah.
It was kind of like, this is a lot better than what I probably would be doing,
Yeah.
if I wasn't in the rooms.
Well, how did the Battle of the Corns come
Corn
into play?
Warriors?
Yeah, Corn Warriors.
Yeah.
How did that come into play?
So I was working here successfully, and I just like randomly on a whim, I think I've always wanted to be in like TV or film or something like that. So, you know, I've been in production for a while, whether it was the music or a podcast, and we made music videos during that time, and I really liked that piece of it, and I'm a big movie fan. And so just randomly, I can't remember if I looked for it or got a notification for it of this guy who was looking for an associate producer for his production company, and called him and said he's got a couple TV shows he needs an associate producer for. And they were The Podfather and Corn Warriors, which are two agriculture-based documentary competition programs where farmers compete against each other to grow high yields of specialty crops.
Oh, really? So is this like a reality TV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corn
Yeah.
Warriors.
Agricultural reality
Who
TV
can-
battle of the corn.
Who can grow
Corn
the most
too?
corn? Was
Corn
it the most
for one,
corn?
and yeah, that was a piece of it. So
It was grow off.
I came up with this grading criteria of
Oh, you did? You came up with a grading criteria for it?
yeah. So what it was like an acre poll, a 5-acre poll. You know, the population, everything, man. I
How
mean,
many people were in this competition? Hold on.
6.
6 people in this competition.
so we'd go and film 6 people, but the NCGA, the National Corn Growers Association, has a national competition where you submit. And so
sample
our
of
people
your
were on
corn?
there. It's already like a nationally done
be
thing,
right
but
back.
ours was just like
I
film.
have to commercial break to use the bathroom. We take commercial breaks
This
here.
is so
We take
unprof-
commercial
this is
breaks.
So unprofessional.
I'm drinking. I'm doing this thing, y'all, and this water is really running through me. So I'm gonna do a bathroom break.
I'm
real
very
quick.
That is like
angry right
12
now because
ounces
this
of
was- I
water
was-
that you've
we- I
had.
was-
3 of those already, Alex. 3 of them.
Is there really
I-
going to be
I
a
buy
commercial
that.
right now, or should we keep talking? Keep talking. All right, so keep on breaking this down. So, okay, there's already a national association for the corn competition.
So, and the NCGA is the governing body for, you know, corn growers, right? And so we filmed 6 of these people as they're kind of like not only competing against each other, but they're obviously going to submit into
Is
the
this
NCGA.
across the country, or all the people across the country
Yeah.
scattered out in Nebraska, Omaha?
Yeah, so
for instance?
you know, I worked for the shows for about a year and a half, a little over a year and a half, and throughout that time, among the 2 shows, we had people in Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Alabama, Arkansas, Nebraska. I think that's it.
Okay, so one family out of each state. That was 6 of them you named off. So there were 6 families, one out of each state. And so, what was the criteria for this corn? And hold on, how long? What's the average growth rate for corn? Like, how long? Does
We
it-
filmed throughout the entire season. So we would start filming usually in like March, and we'd go to each place about once a month
Yeah,
ish, something like that. And
check in on the corn.
yeah, maybe every other month. We usually would go to each farm maybe 4 to 6 times throughout the year.
So the criteria isn't just like
From
the size
March
of the corn and the taste
To
of
October.
The corn,
These are the
obviously.
best farmers in the world.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest. I mean, corn is the number 1 byproduct in America more than any other country, and yeah, so these are the best corn growers on the entire planet. So it was pretty not easy to find them. They're big personalities.
Yeah, and
they're very intelligent people.
Right. So in this competition, so what all did count? Was it like the yield of the crop? Was it the
Yeah.
taste? Was it the? Because I haven't seen the show. Sorry about that, but
No, so the yield is definitely the biggest play. If I recall correctly, it was the population count at the same time. It was the, you know, the moisture. I can't remember all the other criteria.
and who were the judges for this thing? The association that you mentioned before. Or did the TV show have its?
I
own?
was one of them, you know. I mean, I'd take what was given to me and then put it in a formula that I calculated where there's a weighted score for each, you know,
So you had kind of like
criteria.
an algorithm or
Yeah,
something for this?
yeah. I came
Did
up
you-
with a
you created the
algorithm for that.
algorithm?
Yeah,
Did you get a lot of free corn?
This is the
it's
question.
it's
he
all
asked. We were
production
getting-
corn. It's like 99% production corn. So,
So
so
you mean
one of
for
the
like
farmers,
animal feed or something?
one of the farmers say plastics, ethanol, gasoline.
Yeah.
So
High
someone
fructose
said
corn
that
syrup.
that about 5% of the corn that we grow in the U.S. is for consumption.
Human consumption.
5%. Yeah.
And
Even
the
for
rest is
animals?
used for what?
Plastics, ethanol, that type of thing.
But it seems like high
Really? We eat
fructose
that,
corn
too?
syrups and everything.
But
Have
it's
you ever had
different
that
different corn.
You ever put corn on the grill
Yeah.
right? And then you could put this little spice. I forgot what it's called. And then you put this.
Well, that helps us out a lot.
I know.
Like
man.
elote, like
it?
Mexican street corn.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Is
Oh,
that like
man.
a
Oh, it's
sassoon
really
or
good.
something?
Say that again. Is it what?
Sassoon. That's how they.
No, it's like
Say that one more
chili
time.
lime
A sassoon.
seasoning and mayonnaise.
Yes, they put
Yeah.
mayonnaise on it.
Yeah, that's
oh,
awesome.
Man,
Oh, it's like
good.
a sauce.
Oh, it's
Hold on.
great.
What's
Yeah,
this
man.
called again?
Elote.
Elote.
E-L-O-T-E.
It's delicious.
I'm pretty sure.
So I'm sorry I had to do that bathroom break there real quick.
It's all right.
A whole thing of that. That's a lot of lemonade. That's like 690 calories. of
Pull up
lemonade.
in a lemon.
It's not that much lemonade. The lemons aren't high in calories, and there's
It's 130 calories a serving.
Well, listen, I'm supporting
the
this
back of it.
TV show because there's high fructose
It's a
corn
commer-
syrup.
turn
in
that
it.
around. Turn that around. Show it. That's a commercial. So look, if you're out there, what's the name of that lemonade?
This is Market Side.
Market Side. If you happen to come across this in your journeys of looking on social media, we're advertised. Oh, there's another advertisement there.
If you're out there, Monster
free-
Energy,
free-
I've been drinking this stuff
Yes.
for
So why don't you give us a
4
call
years.
and sponsor our podcast?
I like this because it's got the ergonomical grip right here for like this little.
Please don't use words you don't even know what they mean.
It's ergonomical. It means
Yes,
it's comfortably
man. Yeah,
fitted
whatever,
around.
man.
He's jealous of my lexicon.
syntax popping.
Please stop. All right. So yes,
Word hater.
Alex. So you're doing the corn thing. You
I
know,
stopped that about a year, September last year.
That's right. I remember. So y'all came, didn't you and the crew come here, and you were kind of telling me it might be on the outs. Or, you know,
Yeah.
some
I don't want to talk bad about anyone or anything.
Go ahead,
but,
talk about
but,
it. We
but
need this kind of
no,
stuff.
that's not what I was
Little
trying to get at. I just
no,
remember
I,
you were-
I'm
I,
trying to get at.
totally get that. And so essentially what happened is, me and the other employees had, a sit down with the executive producer, had kind of like a come to Jesus moment. Things didn't really change. So we all walked. And then I was pretty much jobless for like a month. And then I uploaded my resume to this freelancing website. And this international e-commerce company found it, called me and said, "We like your podcasting experience. Thanks to the McShin Foundation. We'd love to have you in for an interview for a host of, being a podcast, answer these questions." Did like a consultant interview. Very next day I sit down
Heck yeah.
on a Zoom call with this guy who owns the CEO of the company in Australia. So he's in Australia. I'm on a Zoom call, and I didn't see his face. And so up to that point, I'm still a little skeptical if I'm being like scammed or not.
So hold on. You
Yeah,
have
it's
to
like
show
this
your
legit,
face,
like you're-
and he's not showing his face.
No.
So, and you're thinking like, damn, am I really like
Who
good?
am I talking
this
right
is
now?
really
I-
me. Like, I'm really that good.
I'm
Like,
figuring out how they're going to pull the wool over my eyes
Yeah.
because usually a job gives you money.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
kind of like, how are they going to take my money out of this
Yeah, yeah.
opportunity? And it just kept going and going. And I eventually like met people and talked to people. And it's an international company where I'm not in like any meetings. I talked to my team lead who is from the Philippines, like 12-hour time zone difference. We talk to each other over Google Chat. And so I pretty much do 3 of these type interviews with someone over Zoom, just like I did with the after hours, with a CEO of some e-commerce company, upload it, record an intro and an outro to put on the beginning and end of it. And that's it. That's kind of
And
my
you
bread
do
and
all
butter
of-
right now.
And you do all like the producing of it and like kind of like all that back work there of it too.
Oh, no, I don't. So my team lead does. She does a lot more of the producing. I literally,
So you're just the interviewer asking questions.
yeah, I'm the host. That's
Heck yeah.
it. So I pretty much do the researching, the on-air hosting, and then the recording of the intro and outro, and then send it off. And so she'll edit it together, edit it down, promote it, upload it.
Can
gotta
I
tell you,
get
this
some of those?
sounds this sounds like a
Can-
pretty plush gig, man.
It is.
Can you share some of those with me? I want to check it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, it's called the Debutify podcast. That's
De-
DEBUTIFY.
Steve, you writing this down over
Did
there
you
for
come
us?
up
You
with
checking
that
it
name?
out?
No, that's the name of the company.
And
Sounds
they
like
and,
it could have been one of your songs from
and-
the grunge, the
the
rage.
yes. And
That's
look,
it right there.
and look, Alex, you don't even
That's
have
at
to
the
find
top
the
of the
guests.
Google search.
They find the guests for you,
Yeah.
and then you just research them so you know what you want to
Yeah,
ask.
so
and talk about.
I can like show you. It's all really streamlined quite well. So like everything that's in purple are these guests that they find, and then all I have to do is say like tomorrow I've got an interview at 2:00. I just hit it on my little calendar. They have like some preview questions. I just do a little research on them, write about a dozen questions. I try to listen to other interviews they've done because my approach is to be authentic and informal and kind of macro and not talking about ones and twos, meats and potatoes about technology. I'm more interested in why is your technology different, or the psychology and philosophy behind what your product and service brings to the community.
How long
So-
do these things usually last? Sorry, Joe.
30, 45 minutes.
30, 45 minutes? And you do about 3 a day?
Yep.
Three a
Three
week.
a week.
Oh, I was about to
And-
say, cranking them out.
And so all of them are like some type of technology owner, like a company or something.
E-commerce.
Yeah, so some of them are, growth agencies. Some of them are in charge of social media campaigns. Some, one that I did recently, he does like booking events for retail companies. So he helps put together, say, like, a interactive yoga for
Hot yoga?
Barnes and Noble or something like that. So he'll just figure out ways to get experiential events evolved in people's businesses. And a lot of these people are obviously extremely intelligent. I don't know what I'm doing talking to them except just trying to like elicit some, I tell them my goal is to be a catalyst to get your expert experiential knowledge to our audience of people who are trying to get that.
You're good at communications. Like you're good at
I
that.
appreciate that.
That's definitely something you're good at. So I can see where you're able to hold a good interview and ask some good questions and communicate well. I thought, didn't you tell me you were actually producing something too? Like kind of like not your own, but maybe a film for somebody?
So I was telling Steve before the show that I started my own, freelancing production company back in January. Right?
So it is your own. Okay.
Yeah. So it's literally production company is the closest thing to call it, because usually a production company is someone who's like financing films and all this other stuff. But really, it's just a way that I can freelance and be under a business. Since January, I've done music videos. I've directed a music video, shot a music video, helped edit one, did some grip work on a video. That's like moving a bunch of gear around.
Is this like a local?
Yeah, most of it's local. I was a grip for a film that was filmed locally. I was just yesterday helping this guy. I've been helping this dude film a movie for the last like 2-3 months.
So do you do the actual like filming?
Yeah.
Hold on, I've seen this on a credit before. You mean a key grip?
So that's the biggest. That's the grip in charge of everything.
Ah, so he's the big grip.
Yeah. So I was the key grip on this movie that we filmed in Fredericksburg, and then I don't really know my job title on this movie now, but it's kind of like a director of photography, most likely.
Seen this word and he wanted to use it.
There are some funny that like the best boy. Do you know what the best boy does?
Yeah, he's usually the last on the credit. But what does he do? Does he have to marry the key grip?
He is the gaffer's number 2.
Oh, the gaffer.
Who's the gaffer?
The gaffer is in charge of the lights.
Oh, so there's like specific. names for
There's a specific
Look,
name for everything.
You know,
Jesse.
man,
It's fascinating.
man, something that you should do. You should produce and head like a documentary of like McShin.
I'm working on it.
Man,
It is
you-
in production, but it's not a documentary as much as it is like narrative form of.
Is it in production or more like the vision stage?
It's definitely in the vision stage still.
Which
So
could be
I sit down and I've been working on this story that's kind of like inspired by my time here, and it's definitely more of like a narrative base than it is documentary base. But
So what is that?
I don't
What
want
does that
I don't want
mean?
people to take my. It means that it's written. A documentary like the corn stuff that I did is put the camera up and shoot.
Hold on. This brings up a very interesting.
So
it's
narrative
not
would be
document-
like
yeah.
organized. Documentary is more like
Yeah.
a jam band, and narrative is more like write it, develop it,
And get
plan
actors
it,
to play
cast
the
it,
parts?
crew.
Who would play you in this thing if you could pick anybody? Who would you get to play you if you could pick anybody? Because I
So
understand
that's
what you're saying. I'm
so that's a
following.
movie then. So you want to make like a movie?
A series.
You would play
Oh, it'd be a
yourself?
series.
So here's the kicker, Travis. The idea that I have is I don't want people to take it, so I'm going to say it anyway.
Just spit it out there. Don't think
give it
about
all
too
yet.
long.
Don't nobody be this copyright. How do we say copyright and like
You just
no
said it.
writing?
Don't
This
worry
is
about
my intellectual
Don't
property.
stop what he was
Don't
about to say.
steal this.
I do not
Because
consent.
I know this is going to be good. Don't
All right,
steal this.
No, but the idea is to have, a story about a recovery house and a person coming into the space of a recovery house, and it's kind of like a dark comedy about these people dealing with recovery.
Dark satire.
But the real kicker is that all of the addicts are played by people who are actually
Real
addicts.
life. Real.
Yeah, because I think that's something that you can't really. You can try to replicate, but if you had people who are actually in recovery or have actually dealt with that stuff, you would get a rawer form of emotion.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that you kind of like post write it. So instead of writing out, this person needs to say that or this person needs to say this, you do it the way that they do Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is they just write beats of a scene
Yeah.
and say it has to go from, these people are all playing spades, and then it has to end with one of y'all cheating. So then you just put these addicts in a scene and have them all cut up with each other.
do it. Yeah, just
and
act.
then eventually the scene ends.
So I'm picturing it more like the movie Kids, but in a recovery house.
That's even darker than
Yeah,
that.
that's no. We're not gonna do it like that.
And
No.
funnier. I
No,
want
but
something
I mean,
that's
just the look of it and stuff
Yeah,
like
the
that,
feel
but
of it is pretty
that's what
gritty,
I'm
yeah.
saying. Yeah, just gritty like that. You want it raw and just.
I like the idea of like it's always sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Okay.
That was funny. I like
Yeah.
that. That was funny. That was
But
good.
those people, the reason that works is because all of those people are like the worst people on the planet. But it works in a
Hold on.
They make you love
listen.
them.
It
They
works
make
in a
you love
recovery space because they're all people who can say and do whatever they want and get away with it because they're trying to be better people.
Yeah, so I didn't know that that's kind of how Curb the Enthusiasm, and I guess Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So basically, you got like a producer. He writes the script and he says, all right, he just gives it to the actor. Say, look, you don't got to say this or that. Just go in here and act this scene.
That's how Curb works. I don't know if that's how Sunny works. I'd like that tone, but the way Larry David writes it apparently is he's like, all right, you guys are going to get trapped in an elevator. Y'all just talk
Improv.
until a firefighter comes in through the front door of the elevator.
And so you
It
think
does
about
got an
doing
improv
that.
feel
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
So
So if you can do that with really funny, charismatic characters who are also in recovery, you'll get authentic emotion. You'll get what people who are in recovery actually deal with. It'd be funny.
And you
It'd
got
be
so many
emotional.
different personalities.
Yeah, man. And
Yeah.
people could develop who their character wanted to be. They could just, and the reality
like
is it'll usually end up just being the person who is acting.
This guy Alex is an idea, man. I'll tell you that.
I've been working on this idea for 2
like it.
years and
That's
it hasn't
good.
gone anywhere. So it's more a matter of like
You
finding
need
the time
I
to
know,
do it.
You need a little morning motivation and inspiration. That's all you
Probably.
need.
Well, look. So that's awesome. I like that idea, man. We've been on here for an hour now, so I do want to. I kind of want
Quick hour.
to. It definitely is going by quick. I want to get it to a close. Alex, thank you for coming on. I love that idea, man. And if you ever want to come film some stuff, do a documentary,
Oh,
or do
yeah.
anything on McShin, come do that, man. I think that would be great, man. We appreciate you coming on here. Travis, you got any parting words before
Oh
we
man,
end?
that was awesome meeting you, man. You're a cool dude. This
love
was
you
a
guys.
fun interview, bro.
Yeah,
I
this
gotta
is
admit.
this was a blast,
I just
man.
met this guy like 5 minutes before we got on stage. I feel like I know him
And
for
I'm-
like more than 5 minutes.
I'm grateful for y'all, and I'm grateful for this place. I'm grateful for the opportunities that it's given me, and I would not be the person I am today without y'all and the McShin Foundation. So I'm just thank y'all so much.
Yeah, man, Alex, you're awesome, man. And I've always had a great respect for your work ethic and just you're just a cool dude, man. You really are a cool dude. If you could tell anybody out there new to recovery, you got any words of wisdom you want to give them?
Give us
Drop
some words
drop
of
drop
wisdom.
something on
A
them before we.
jewel.
Remain coachable.
Drop a jewel.
I love that,
Remain
man. That's
teachable,
what teachable,
coachable.
coachable, man.
That's what someone said about employment, and I think that's extremely applicable in recovery as well. Is if you remain coachable, teachable, then you'll be able to succeed. I mean, that's kind of what open-mindedness is to a T, but it's about remaining that way and being consistently. I don't know it all, and I definitely won't ever. One
Yeah.
thing I know is I don't know anything.
Anybody with the stage name Moses is definitely going to drop jewels like that.
Good. I love it. So there y'all got it. Everybody out there, if you're tuning into this, if you happen to come across this, scroll across it, look, like it, share it, please, and then hit the video and go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really want that. We're not asking for any monetary donations. We're just asking for a subscription. Just subscribe to our podcast. Real simple. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And again, another shout out to our two sponsors, Hype Counseling and the Farley Center. Thank you for sponsoring us, and thank you everybody that tuned in. Peace.
Have a good one.